Welcome again to Joe Stunner Boxing. I did a couple of Anthony Joshua related polls over the last day or so, and I'll give you the results of the one about the Anthony Joshua Dillian White fight that we now know is in place. And it was 160. It's actually, when I did the video giving the results, it was 130 plus people had voted, and now it's now 161, I think, and 63% of people think Joshua wins by KO, and White. I think 10% of people now only think that he's going to win on. This is a KO. 22% think Joshua might win on points, which is interesting, and only 3% of people think that White wins on points. So very much people are leaning towards Joshua in that fight. 2/3 of them think, yeah, it's going to be Joshua by KO. But then the second poll, I said, well, if he does get through White and he faces Deontay Wilder, who wins and how do they win? And those results are in. 167 people have voted so far. And I know that this is a very modest channel. We got, what, 1,700 subscribers, whatever it is. God bless the lot of you. But, it's a small channel, no problem. So I'm not saying this is representative of a complete cross-section of all boxing fans right across the nation or anything like that. It's just interesting to get a sort of little vibe, see what's going on. So Joshua versus Wilder, the results were 1% think it will be a draw. All right, can't rule anything out, can you? 1% think Deontay Wilder wins on points, which, yeah, okay. 10% think Joshua can win on points. 35% of people think Joshua will win by KO. But 53%, over half obviously, of people think that Deontay Wilder would knock out Anthony Joshua. Now, I'm not surprised by that, because even though Wilder has only had, 2 minutes fighting against Helenius since that third, epic Fury fight, it's hard to see Joshua staying out of the way of that right hand, for me personally. And I'm not saying he can't win, I wouldn't rule him out at all. But I just think when Wilder zeroes in that big right cross, I don't like Joshua's chances. Now, I don't make Wilder more than a sort of a 60-40 favourite. I would pick him to knock out Joshua if you put a gun to my head. That's my initial thought. But I think there are intangibles here, because there is the inactivity with Wilder, and then there's the fact that Joshua's working with Derek James and is going to have had 2 fights, one against White before he fights Wilder. And I just think that behind the scenes, you don't really know what's going on with Derek James. Maybe he is making real progress with James. You just don't know. It does take a lot of time to gel with a trainer mentally, psychologically. Obviously, you've got to sort out whatever's being taught physically. But as we know, boxing is more than just a physical game. A big part of it, a huge part of it, is mental as well. So, again, 53% of people think Wilder knocks out Joshua. 35% of people think Joshua knocks out... Start again. 53% of people, think Wilder knocks out Joshua. 35% of people think Joshua knocks out Wilder. And then you've got... The points thing is a little bit interesting. Anthony Joshua, 10% on points, but only 1% for Deontay Wilder. Okay, fair enough. And then 1% draw. So, interesting stuff. I mean, you might say, well, why are you making these polls? Well, I'm making these polls because the buggers aren't fighting. Get on with it. We're all sick of the heavyweight division being sort of log jammed and held up. And I don't even get me started on this Ngannou fight for Fury. Jesus Christ, you call that the behaviour of a heavyweight champ, do you? Usyk and Dubois, not the greatest of fights, but I'll watch it. But yeah, this at least has some appeal, Joshua versus Wilder. At least it's because it's 2 damaged heavyweights, big bangers, big hitters, colliding, and that's always interesting. That's always an interesting theory, and I would find it more interesting than Joshua against White, although I'm not saying that can't be a good fight. It can be. Very often, you know, when two fighters are perceived to be past their best, you know, they produce epic fights. And I think White's punch resistance is very poor nowadays. And I don't really see, if Joshua is anything like he was prior to the psychological damage that he suffered against Ruiz and Usyk, if he's back on track, I think he should have enough to beat White. But yeah, it's the psychology of AJ is something that is questionable, isn't it? But yeah, anyway, I thought I'd let you know that. So tell me what you think. Joshua against Wilder, how do you think that goes? Do you think most people are right? Over half the people who voted say Wilder knocks out Joshua, knocks him out, not just beat him. I mean, if you're talking about beating him, see, if you're talking about beating the opponent, it's 54% if you put the points and the KO together. 54% for Wilder and 45% for Joshua. And that kind of ties in with what I think, because I think I'd make Wilder a 60-40 against Joshua. It's that KO thing that people have got in their minds. So let me know what you think. Leave your comments below. Thanks for listening. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Hit the like button as well. That helps us out. And spread the word about Joe Stunner Boxing. Appreciate your time. Bye for now.